What is going on, beautiful people? Thank you guys for tuning in to A Connection TV, the one place on the World Wide Web where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences. I'm your boy, Wes, and I am on the set to say thank you for all of the support that you've been giving my new interviews on The Whole Truth with Wes. Now, if you guys have been with me since 2005, 2006, 8, 9, 10, 11, you know that me doing interviews is like my thing. I was one of the first YouTubers, especially in the gay space, to do a lot of the things that you see people doing today, especially interviews. And so getting back into it with Jela, it was just like, I wonder if Jayla would do an interview because I want to know what's going on. I want to catch up. And, I was going through all my old interviews and I interviewed her 3 times, almost damn near 10 years ago. So I just hit her up on a regular, like, hey, what's up? You want to do an interview? She's like, yeah, I'm down. Now, because of the whole way that that network is going and the girls are moving and all of that, I didn't think that she was actually going to come and do the interview, but she showed up and it was a 5-hour conversation. When I thought about the fact that she kind of reawakened me, okay, I'll say that. She reawakened me into realizing, Wes, you used to do this a lot. I explained on that interview why I stopped. She was like, no, you should come back. You should definitely do it, blah, 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 blah. And after that interview and after our conversation and after all of this stuff that I found out that actually happened to her on the show, some of it wasn't put into the interview because of specific reasons. But I was like, damn, like, I really am curious about what these other women go through. And so I started reaching out to other women, all right? And Jayla has been a part of that. One of the reasons why Sapphire came through was because of Jayla, right? And so getting into that Jayla interview, and the reason why I released the parts the way that I released it is because YouTube respects your channel when you upload daily. YouTube loses respect for your channel when you upload once a week or twice a week or once every other week or one video in a month. And so one of the reasons why I did that release schedule with Jayla was so I could be knocking on YouTube's door like, hey, I'm here. Can you respect my channel now? Can you give my channel some love? And y'all don't see the stats in the back end, but me releasing the videos for Jayla the way that I did, YouTube poured into my channel, okay? I know y'all see y'all faves on YouTube uploading every day. Or some of them may disappear for like a month, but then when they come back, they upload every day. Because I'm gonna tell you, the moment YouTube does not receive an upload from you in 2 days, your whole YouTube, everything goes down. It's like, oh, they don't care about you. They don't like you no more. When you start uploading and you upload regularly, and to y'all's credit, y'all leave comments, y'all like the video, y'all share the video. That's why everybody always says, leave comments, click the notification bell, share, like the video, because YouTube loves the engagement. And YouTube is like, okay, A Connection TV is doing pretty good in the month of April. Let's celebrate them. Okay, that's why I released those videos like that with Jayla, so that my channel can be back on the up and up, because for a long time, a lot of y'all weren't even watching my channel, no shade. And so I had to do things that way. I heard y'all's cry and complaints from watching free content. And I gave y'all the whole Trip video, even though some of y'all may not know who Trip is. And I gave y'all the whole JO video, even though some of y'all have y'all feelings about JO. Y'all didn't support those videos. And I gave it to y'all all in one shot. I'm not doing that anymore. Because YouTube, when I did that, was like, okay, Wes, what's going on, goddammit? You were doing well in April. Now you got these uploads. Your frequency is messing up here. And so what I'm going to do now with regards to the interviews, when I get them, if I get them, shout out to Jayla for helping the girls, helping me out with the girls seeing me a little bit more, because I've been gone, right? And even though I was the first on the YouTube space in the gay world to do these interviews and to do a lot of things that your faves are doing now, people forgot, right? And you're only remembered if you're recent. And so Jayla had helped me out with getting in contact with some of the girls, and Sapphire came through, and that's due to Jela. Thank you, Jela. But yeah, I want to do interviews moving forward. And I kind of want to get back to that being my stick because it was back in the day. So we got Sapphire lined up. We got Sarah lined up. We got Judy lined up. And hopefully we can get some more women lined up, right? We're in talks with some of the big wigs, okay, of the current season, right? Let's hope that they, make it happen or whatever. But they will be released in parts. Now, what I won't do is I won't repeat content from a small video in the bigger video, because I know some of y'all were watching the lives and y'all can't skip the lives. You're like, we already saw this. We already saw this. So, for example, the Sapphire videos will be released in 4 parts, but I will not repeat footage in it. So if you watch part 1, but don't watch the beginning, then you're going to miss out on some information. It's just going to continue right on. So there's going to be the beginning, part 1, let's talk about it, and then part 2. All right. Depending on how long these videos are with some of these ladies, because Sapphire came to set thinking that we were going to speak to her for 5 hours, and we did. It was like 3 hours. All right. But I just wanted to come on and say a couple of things. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for leaving comments. Thank you for leaving likes. Thank you for sharing, right? All the blogs, thank you for picking up, especially the blogs that credit the source material. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All of those 5 factors matters with regards to YouTube giving an F about your channel, all right? So for the month of April, thank you, Jayla. YouTube served me well. Okay. Some of y'all been saying, oh my God, this video just popped up, or oh my God, this video is being requested and suggested by YouTube. That's because of all the videos that we posted, all the love that y'all were showing the videos and the engagement those videos got. So relax, calm down. Y'all are receiving this content for free, baby. It's not on Patreon. I'm not charging y'all. I'm not doing YouTube subscriptions like a lot of your other faves do. Calm down and relax. All right. And then another thing, not only is it free, these ladies, Jela, Jo, Sapphire, these 3 first in particular, they said so much on the interview, and they held back a lot of things as well, because this is real life for a lot of these women. Okay. Now, this particular video that you're about to see goes into Sapphire's story with her ex-friend. I want to say this, and I want to say it as pleasant as I can. First, I'm not allowing any disrespectful jargon or crap to come on any of my platforms. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, you will be blocked. Your comment will be removed. Reason being is because you're basing your opinions and thoughts off of what you saw on television. The edited version of what you saw on television. This part 1 right here gets intense, because what happened to Sapphire is crazy. Okay. And a lot of y'all will never know. She talks about it a little bit here, but a lot of y'all will never know the full extent because of the content of her character, how she carries herself. I think it's bullcrap what happened to her. And this is me getting personal in it, because I was sitting there with her and she started crying. It's bullcrap what happened to her. And the way that the show depicted, the way that the show did not depict everything that happened is crazy enough. But the fact that Sapphire had to endure everything that she endured is even crazier. And in the parts, you will see that I commend her, and I talk about her bravery and all of that, because no one should go through that. And I feel like because it's reality TV, we should always see the truth. But in a lot of these scenarios with these women, we're not seeing the total truth. Okay. And it's no shade to the networks and the editors or whatever. The editors are supposed to pour out the controversy, but it would be amazing if we were to see the entirety of what happens on reality TV, because Sapphire would not have gone through what she went through with you guys, the trolls and the internet, if we would have saw the whole entire thing. I'm not going to go on, because y'all watching this live and y'all can't skip through me. But I do want to end this video by saying, listen, be respectful. I will interview just about every bad girl on here, okay? On bad girl, baddies, all of that. And I'm not just interviewing the women, I'm interviewing the men as well. I have no problem sitting down with people, because the whole truth With Wes, it's about gathering some points of the truth and allowing the person to express themselves uninterrupted, unedited, right? And so just respect the process, please. Again, I'm giving y'all free content, and these ladies are coming out of their way to sit down and talk to me. It's all respect, baby. A lot of y'all call me an icon for a reason. It's all respect. And honestly, thank you, Jayla, for waking this back up, baby. I can't wait to see you in Miami. But yeah, I respect all the women, and I want all the women to come through. I have no issues with y'all. I have no issues with Biggie. I have no issues with Camilla. I have no issues with Lex, even though she came from my fame for no fucking reason. But I'm curious to see and hear these women and like their story. I'm curious to see why they do what they do and how they're whatever. Anyways, I've gone on enough. Okay, I've gone on enough. Hopefully y'all got through this part, and hopefully y'all understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. There's all respect and love for the women. And thank you for every one of you that have left a comment, for every one of you that have hearted the video, for every one of you that have shared the blogs, that have credited the source material. I love y'all. I want to continue on, and I want to do as many women that are willing to come down and sit in front of me. I'm that guy, right? And a lot of y'all already knew this, and some of them need to catch up. But without further ado, okay, because I go on and on and on like Jayla. Get into this video, baby, because it's spicy. All right? And respect and love under the comments. A Connection TV, where we adopt similar connections despite our differences. Deuces.
The show even beginning filming. So I got a call about that, and I was told, that you gonna have to handle that because she way bigger than me. So I kind of went in there with the mindset already that Smiley and her were probably gonna have some type of issues. But I honestly didn't really know too much about the Smiley and Mariah thing that happened at the last dinner, but I was aware of the text message that said, I got your friend's chain to come back, to come and get it. So we went in there with that attitude, like, okay, well, you text my friend's phone. Again, I don't know her power. She could be tearing bitches up and down a wall. I don't know, but my friend asked me when we go here if you could handle it because she's a lot bigger than I. So that's just how that went.
Mariah tries to do her big one. I'm just poking fun of her, but she attacks Smiley, and she still doesn't get the chain back. And so it seems like there was a lot going on. Voices raised, and you got to get the chain, get the chain.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like put Smiley in like a chokehold, and then the camera flashes, and then you got her down on the ground, and then you like, I got the chain. Do you feel like, one, that you bullied Smiley, and two, that you jumped her?
Jumped?
Yes.
No, there was no jump because when I went and got the chain, it was just me. Like, no.
Okay, right.
But it wasn't a jump. And I wouldn't consider it a bully either. It's like, again, before we came to the house and we got the details about how she had been taunting Mariah, my focus is still that you text my friend's phone saying, I got your friend's shit. So my mindset is she feels disrespected. It's not just so much so about Mariah. So then when we get there and we get the information about Mariah, it only fuels my momentum.
Right, it just adds to it.
It wasn't more like a bully. It was like, well, you said, come get it. And then she's crying about it. No one else has done it yet, so let's just go get it.
If you could go back to that particular moment, what would you do differently? Or would you just leave it all the same?
I probably would have had my hair different.
Do you think Mariah can handle Smiley? Or do you think Mariah was pressured by all of you to do something to Smiley?
Let me tell you something about Mariah. Mariah gonna fight. She don't care. you don't have to pressure her. Once, again, something fuels her momentum, she's going to do what she can. I feel like Mariah was frustrated because everything that she was doing wasn't working and no one else was working in her favor until we got there. That's how I feel. But I don't feel like no one really pressured her, because if there was so much pressure, where was the change? Yeah, so I don't feel like anyone pressured her. I just feel like Mariah gonna keep going. She doesn't mind. She reminds me of Anna. Like, they small, but they're mighty. That's why I nicknamed her Mighty Mouse. Like, they're gonna keep going until they feel some form of satisfaction.
Right.
Yeah, so you don't have to pressure Mariah.
Do you think there was some kind of space for the women on the show during that time, or the audience, to feel some sort of empathy or sympathy for Smiley? Because apparently she would go online and be the big bully, but then when she would come on set, she's, I don't want to fight, I want to be cool, and this, that, and the third. Explain that dynamic, because it's confusing to me. And it seemed like it was confusing to y'all too, because at one point y'all are in the backyard and she's like, here's the pendant, I give you the pendant. And you're like, I still want to fight. I don't care.
Yeah. And the reason behind that, well, what they don't show, of course I did say initially I still want to fight, but there was a point where she says, I really don't want to fight you, Sapphire. And I said, okay, y'all. And everybody was like, no, Smiley, you said that when you see her, it was on. She came dressed to fight. I didn't come in the house with that outfit I had on. If you watch the show, I changed, because they told me that she was in the car saying when she get there, it was on site and what she was going to do to me. So that's why I changed. So when you come in the house, I'm standing on what I'm being told, that you in the car popping it. So I got to be prepared. And then when I see her aesthetic, you ain't dressed to hang out. You're dressed to fight. So I had to make sure that I was on point. But then her whole demeanor changed. So there's a point in time where I just go sit down. I'm like, y'all, just leave her alone. If she don't want to fight, I'm not about to force her to fight me. They were like, no, Smiley, come on, you got, like, if anybody was pressured, it was her. But they only show me saying, I still want to fight.
Yeah, that whole scene
so it
made
looks
you
wild.
look like a mean girl.
Of course,
it
but
really
that's what I'm
did.
saying. There are a lot of things that people don't see, and I'm usually not offended by it. I mean, with that being my first time really doing like a major reality TV show where editing may or may not go in your favor, I was a little frustrated when I really didn't understand. But when you sign this paperwork, it lets you know anything that we film can be used in whatever way that we want it to be used.
Right.
I signed that. So I can't be upset with you. And I know the editors, the goal is to make people want to watch the show and to build up some type of controversy. I can't be mad if you put me just saying, I still want to fight you, because it got the people talking. It worked in you all's favor, and I signed up for this. So once I realized that, it didn't really bother me. But that's not how that scene actually went.
Yeah. So, but you do end up fighting her. And all the women was like, no, that's not enough. That's not enough. They need to run it back. They need to run it back. This girl looks so defeated in this moment. While you were fighting her, was there something going on in your mind like, this girl don't really want to fight, let me leave her alone? Or were you like, nope, I'm about to whoop her ass and she talking all this shit? What mindset did you have?
It was a little bit of both. At first it was just like, nah, we didn't get it in enough, because they immediately charged in. And then after that I was just like, that girl said she don't want to fight, just leave her alone. Simple.
We're going to fast track a little bit. We're going to get to E.T. and Biggie. Okay. Two extreme personalities, on and off camera.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine working with them, to say the least. But do you feel like Biggie set E.T. up with that guy when they were going into the club, for that guy to antagonize E.T.? What are your thoughts?
In all honesty, I don't think she did. However, I also don't feel like E.T. didn't hear what she heard.
Right.
So two things can be true.
Right.
Biggie may have felt like she wanted to do something like that because she was upset, but I don't think that she did it. E.T. very well could have heard someone say that, but that doesn't mean that they came from Biggie.
Right.
But because they had these ongoing beefs and threats were made from Biggie's side, and then something happens immediately after, it kind of seems like she did it. But to this day, it's never came out that Not nobody, and even with Anna currently being upset with Biggie, that's something she would have yelled at, would have admitted to by now in telling business. It's never came out that Biggie actually set anybody up.
Yeah,
I don't see Biggie. She's kind of like Smiley in a way, very small. And what I mean by that is she gonna pop it, but when it's time to be physical, that's not her demeanor. You know what I mean? So I don't see Biggie actually sitting there making a call and saying, let's do this, because violence isn't her. That's not her field.
Yeah, I don't see that either, to be honest.
And in E.T.'s defense, she comes from an area where that's how they handle things. Like, you did something one of mine, if I don't get you, somebody else going. So when it happens to her and she heard what she heard, that's the mentality that she has. But I don't think that Biggie did it, though.
We take a trip down the memory lane with the Bad Girls Club in that era of television where women would sign or write eviction notices for other women to get out. There was an eviction notice.
Girlie the landlord.
And, you know, they wanted Biggie and Smiley out, apparently.
Oh, wow. You know what? So you just took me back. I forgot that Biggie was one of the persons that was told that she was being evicted. I completely forgot about that. Right, because they were kind of like they were trying to make them a duo. Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Because they love Biggie.
What would have been your stance if you were served an eviction notice?
Child, I would have been moving in more furniture. Scoot over and let my U-Haul in.
Was there anyone, a part of the cast, you felt like could check you in any way?
In the East? Check me? What you mean? No, I'm curious.
Make you feel like, let me not try her. I'm gonna let you be over there, but I'm over here.
It's hard for me to say that because that's just not the energy that I give.
Okay.
So if you were to ask any of them anything about me, it's nothing negative that you could say. Gotcha. So I don't want to pinpoint, I think this person could check me, because I don't do shit for them to want to check me.
Makes sense.
I feel like the moment where someone had the opportunity to check me was that time when we were in the basement and I did what I did. When I got the chain back from Smiley, you all were there. We just got here. It's our first day here. Y'all know the backstory. We don't. So if you felt like anything that I did, not even we, anything that I did in that moment was wrong, then that was the opportunity to pick a side.
I like that. From the scenes that I've just painted and asked questions about to you, what was going on from scene to scene to scene? Were there certain women that you were connecting with more than others? Were you getting an understanding of how the Zeus Network works? What was that like for you?
Well, if you paid attention to Baddies East, remember they created like a House A, House B type thing. So when we got there, since we were special guests, we weren't staying in the house with either group. We were in the hotel. But when we came on to scene, we were always paired with House A. So that's how I built a better rapport with like Rolly and E.T. Who else was there? Mariah Lynn. Of course, Natalie and I were already friends. Who else was House A?
A couple of people. Actually.
I'm missing somebody in A. But B, I know it was Camilla, Tasiki, Anna, Biggie, and Sky.
Where was Mariah Lynn?
Mariah Lynn, she was House A as well.
Yeah.
She was House A. So, but when they came around, it was still all love. But I was able to build a stronger bond with House A initially because that's where we spent most of our time.
Did it feel awkward having those gaps? Like you would just go to this event, then go back to the hotel, and then you would miss some things, then come back?
We would even ask when I say we, I'm not talking about the person I was with. I'm saying we, like Natalie as well. Like we would ask, well, you know, because sometimes she would leave to go do her bookings. So I would just be there by myself. So when I come on scene, it's just me. I don't, you know, everybody has their clique. I came with her. Like we came together. I didn't come with a clique.
Right.
So when I came in, I'm building bonds with them, and then they would want me to stay at the house, but no, we were told no. So it was, I can't really say it was weird, but I would have wanted to at least stay at House A or stay at House B some days, get to know them.
There was a tweet that was made saying that Anna Mac, hi, my name is T, Mariah Lynn, and Smiley should go home. Did you agree?
Who said that?
Did you agree with that tweet?
When I say that tweet caught me so left field, because one, to answer your question, no, I didn't agree. Two, it caught me left field because you have to really pay attention to the show. If you're gone, House A is a group. Mm-hmm. House B is a group.
Mm-hmm. You're there.
My partner's gone. I'm here by myself. Mm-hmm. And you send out a tweet like that, they could have decided to gang up on me. Mm. So immediately when that tweet was sent, they're like, hey, we're getting ready to come get you and bring you on set. I'm like, okay, great. So I get there and they're keeping me separate from all the girls that's at the house. And this is House A. Mind you, I've been with them all these other days, but today I can't be with them. And I'm trying to get an understanding as to why. Well, Mariah, she snuck into the room and she's like, Sapphire, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah. Because now I'm trying to figure out what's going on because we're all separated. And she was like, oh, well, we're just trying to understand what was going on with the tweet. And then when Anna came, it was the same thing. So everybody's asking me. I don't have an explanation. So I said, listen, however y'all feel we can handle it, or y'all could wait till she get here and y'all can ask her for herself. But she said what she said. That was my only response. At this point, they could have did whatever they wanted to do with me. And it just was like, damn, at least give me the heads up. Yeah. So, but I said that again, that's not the energy that I give. So even when I said that, they're not offended by it. Yeah. Because that's just not the energy that I give.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So I was still good.
Biggie and Smiley at that same dinner where the tweet was addressed were told that they were the stars of the show. Do you agree with that statement?
I didn't.
Okay. At that time, who did you think were the quote unquote stars?
I had no idea. That was probably like our fourth day there.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I think that was just just throwing a curveball in, shake the room.
Do you think that, because the way that it came across to me was once that statement was made, Rolly felt some sort of way about that. Do you think that that's true? Can you give me some insight?
Do I think that it's true that Rolly felt some type of way?
Because it's like everything went up after that person said that these two are the stars and y'all got to stand up for yourselves and this and that and the third. The energy just heightened after that. So what?
If I had to look at it from that point of view, not just being Rolly, but just being on the other side, and a statement like that was made, I would feel the way I just said. How can you make that type of decision and y'all been here for 4 days? So I think that was probably her whole sentiment, because that would be mine. I can't really speak for why she felt like that exactly. But if I was on that end and someone came in and said, these two people who you've known for 4 days after we just strangled one of them to get a chain back because y'all had an issue, how do you then make them
the stars?
Right.
Yeah.
So I just think her whole sentiment was, you ain't even been here long enough to make those type of decisions.
Biggie decides to pick up a chair. Do you feel like at that particular moment it's up and it's stuck? And do you understand why she picked up the chair?
Biggie picked up the chair on who again?
I want to say it was either E.T. coming in her direction. Because you know how E.T. do that little sneaking walk. She's about to walk to you and say hello.
Prowl.
Not about to say hello. She's about to smack you. So yeah, it was a lot going on. But do you understand why she picked up the chair?
Well, shit, the way they bite now, yeah. I just feel like it's kill or be killed. That's just how I go. If I'm looking at it from like a production point of view, then I would have to disagree, because we're told like that's just absolutely can't happen. Because had the chair got thrown, anybody else in that restaurant could have taken a beating and lawsuits would be filed, et cetera, et cetera. And even if you had hit your target, it could have just been so detrimental that, again, lawsuits could have been filed. So I understand the whole dynamic as to why it wasn't okay. But if it was like a street thing, all production aside, Biggie ain't no fighter and it's E.T. So it's like, Biggie know like it's not gonna go in her favor. So she said, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So that's why I understand her sentiment in that point.
Before going to Jamaica, had you been to Jamaica before?
Yeah, I'm actually Jamaican.
So have you spent time living in Jamaica?
Not so we would get sent there for like summers.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to consider that, either they would send us to Kingston or Freeport, Bahamas.
Yeah. Smiley has a seizure, quote unquote. And I'm saying quote unquote because it seemed like Smiley's storyline was faking a miscarriage, and now the new storyline is she's faking a seizure. I don't know her to be an actress. People say she lied about a lot of things. I don't know her. I'm not sure. But based on what was being said on the show, I could gather why they would think that. But to me, it looked real. What were your thoughts? Because everyone, she faked it, she faked it, she faked it, she faked it. I don't think you were there when she had the seizure, or were you? I don't remember seeing.
When she initially had the seizure in the van that they were brought in, because we rode separate, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But I walked over with them when they had to take her off of it, and I walked behind them when they wheeled her into a small clinic that was there, and I was in the room when she seizured out in the clinic and kind of fell on the floor, vomited, screamed for her son. They brought her back outside because they couldn't facilitate her there, and said that they needed to take her to an actual hospital to be serviced. And then, you know, I stayed there through that. I didn't pass judgment because I don't know. You know, I had never seen an actual seizure take place. Some of the girls said they had actually witnessed a seizure in person. Well, actually, I hadn't seen a seizure take place until recently when I saved my nail tech, but that's another story. But prior to that, I didn't know what that, you know, what that looked like. I mean, I see her shaking, but people are like, well, her pupils are this, and no spit up. Like, they had certain details that they look for in a seizure that I wasn't aware of, so I just didn't pass judgment. The whole goal was, if something is happening, let's just fix it. Otherwise, it's over for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know her, but I couldn't imagine why someone would feel that that would be a necessary storyline. And then to go through the physicality of it all.
Well, that was the problem right there. Let me stop you.
Okay.
It was the fact that, one, it was stated that when they were getting dressed, that she said, I'm about to make today about me. Allegedly, I don't know. But they repeated that over and over. I believe some of them said it on their confession, or you could hear them in the background during that scene. So that was the first reason why a lot of them were saying from House B were saying that that was fake. And the second reason was because it was reported back that when she got to the hospital, when they asked her for all of her information, she snapped out of it. So that was like the whole shebang.
And okay, that adds enough context for someone to understand the perspective of a lot of
so that's why they felt how they felt.
Yeah, I get that. People get heated with Mariah over what she said during an altercation. What did we miss? And from what I remember watching, it was about the situation that happened at the restaurant. And apparently Mariah said that she wanted to check your friend at the time, and I don't know, because it was very sketchy.
Right.
What details can you give us about why you ended up having some beef with Mariah based on her saying something? Because y'all sit down and then Rolly's like, no, she's lying, she's not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember that part. I do know that something was said about her saying she was gonna sneak her. And then I think the biggest thing was that explicit video was shown on camera, and that was reported back.
What did the video entail?
My friend at the time.
Okay. Okay. Do you, if you were to go back, the Sapphire today, do you understand why you wanted to fight Mariah at the pier or the dock where the water was, and y'all were in the water at that time?
Anything I do at the time, that's just what it is. I live in that moment. So I couldn't tell you if I would change anything, because if that's how I felt at that moment and that's what I did, then that's just how I felt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listening to your confessionals, you stated that once you took her bag down, it was up. Right.
So to address that, at that moment, it was just more so she and I were just trying to get some type of context as to Like, why did you do what you did? And why did you say what you said? But if we're both face to face and we're having a conversation, my hands are here. I'm talking to you from here. I mean, I'm a lot larger than you. So my hands are here. I'm talking to you here. You're talking like this too, which is not so much so offensive to me because when you talk like this, your hand's still right here. But it's like when you take your bag off mid-sentence and we're both saying things that can be considered fighting words and you pass it to the person behind you, my only mindset is that you're possibly about to swing. So again, I told you in this world we live in the baddies world, is either kill or be killed.
How did you feel when? So I got to give it to Mariah now. She's tiny, but she ended up pulling you into that water, and y'all was going for blow, for blow, for blow. At least that's what it seemed like because the edits kind of was. I was like, okay, Mariah. What was going through your mind? Like, oh, this bitch thinks she about to get me. What was it like?
Well, it's just when I first popped her, she took my wig down. That was a real good wig, 200 density. Like Mariah owed me a wig, but she actually didn't hit me. But like I said, it's always respect for Mariah because she gonna fight. Yeah. So it don't matter. And I know whether she say she wasn't or wasn't. We already had that conversation. Whether she say she was or was not gonna swing, she knows. Yeah. And we had a conversation again. If me and you are arguing, I start pulling my earrings out like. Or wiping my face down with Vaseline, right? You're not about to sit here and think we about to hug, like. So it's like you just have to do something, no matter what. So, it's just always credit for Mariah because she's gonna stand up for herself.
What about Baddies East reunion that we don't know that you would like us to know?
What about Baddies East reunion that y'all don't know?
We saw you fight E.T. We saw you get in the paint. Was there an apology from E.T. after the fight? Did y'all make amends?
Not that day in particular. Okay. But eventually, yeah. Okay. Because we know neither one of it. We both understood like why we were doing what we were doing. Like we understood like why it had to happen. But in that moment, no, there was no apology. Like she just finished fighting Tasiki. So right. Just like, I wouldn't want to talk to nobody about shit either after the fact. So no, not in that moment. And then there's another big thing that I know went viral when it came to me on Baddies East, and it was a statement where I said, I'm surprised you didn't pick up on this one. Okay. Where I said, that wasn't my best friend that night, that was the devil. Yes. There's a lot of context behind that. That wasn't, I wasn't literally calling her a demon or a devil. So, I'm giving y'all a little bit. Not too much, because I know y'all be wanting the tea from me, and I'm not the messy baddie. But I know it's like certain little things that I could have defended myself on the internet and stuff then. But with that being said, that dinner scene with the chair and all of that. Okay. So it went way up. Like, I'm not gonna say what happened, but it went way up that you guys don't see at all. Okay. Like, it was crazy. Okay. Production involved and all that, like, trying to keep everything together. It went crazy. After that happened, a friend at the time, she had to go do a booking. Okay. She was checking in to see what the energy was with the ladies, at least two of the ladies, after that explosive scene had taken place. And I was like, I don't know. She asked me to kind of get some, like, kind of feel them out and see how they feel. Yeah. So when there's a scene with me sitting down on the couch and I'm asking questions, and it would say, oh, Sapphire's being messy because Rolly said that she wants Suki to be unbiased or what have you. I'm asking these questions because this is what my friend told me to do. But when I'm getting beaten battered on the internet, no one's defending me, and that's okay. I'm gonna weather the storm. So when I'm sitting on that couch and I'm asking questions, it's because I was asked to see what the energy is before she returned. So we knew how to move from that point on. I made it known that there is no issues. When she came back from the booking, she had stated to me that she didn't really like how the night before went at the dinner table. Well, 2 days. So I should say the last filming that she was a part of, how that went. And she said, Sapphire, the next time I act like that, I want you to tell me, don't let the devil win. So when I make that statement, that wasn't my best friend that night, that was the devil. The whole context of that is that in that moment, you had let the devil win.
So
I wasn't calling her the devil.
So obviously there's a domino effect. And it seemed like it had been falling quite prior to when we get to the situation where water is being poured on Smiley and Natalie and Scotty are going after each other. There's a domino effect that leads up to that, which could allow for a great explanation for what you went through.
If I told the story, everything that I dealt with, it will be a lot of apologies given.
So how do you handle that?
I pray.
Okay. And so are you saying now that you have acquired a thick skin in dealing with social media? Because can we get a napkin, please, Tristan? Thank you. And this is a very safe space, so you're good. I gave her that harsh paper towel, baby.
It's okay. It's better, so it don't mess with my makeup.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
Because it's so much, and then it's like, for me, the reason why, like when people, they ask to speak to me, and I know they want to talk about that, and I get it, and it's like, the way I feel, I had the opportunity a long time ago to tell my story, and I didn't. So it's like, why do it now?
I get it.
Like, why talk about it now? Because I already went through it.
I get it.
I weathered that storm. I went through that battle on my own, knowing the truth. All parties knew the truth about what really had taken place, that day. So it's like, when you pray and you ask God to take you through something, He's not going to allow you to backtrack on a situation that we've already prayed through. So it's either I'm going to trust that He's going to get me through it and continue to move me forward, or I'm going to be so desperate to tell my side of the story. What is it going to do for me?
Well, there could be a balance, right? Because at the end of the day, you came out as the villain in that situation. You came out as the not good friend in that situation. And none of that is okay, especially if it's not the case. And to hear that there's some backstory that led up to a lot of your decision making, I think it would have been righteous if first of all, the world don't really need to know, so I get it, right? Because it is just television. But at the same time, this is real life as well, because people are affected. So finding that out and knowing the truth could have definitely aided in your healing from that.
It could have. And then also, even at certain points, there was just a lot of internet stuff going on. When it would die down, just be more internet stuff, as if it's like the hate train just kept getting kind of pushed, even when it was deaded. And I didn't, again, this was my first big platform on reality TV. I wasn't an internet girl. I never was. I didn't know how to work the internet in my favor and things like that. And it's little old me up against someone with a larger following. And even when you watch a lot of these seasons, sometimes some of the girls do stuff that a lot of us wouldn't agree with, but when they have a fan base, they don't do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what the next person said.
I get it.
So it's like, it ain't even no point of me trying to explain. But if you really look at the whole dynamic, every single woman in there was still my friend for a reason.
Okay. Do you need to take a moment? Okay. I want to move on to Baddies Caribbean.
The fun season.
Yeah. So I'll say, or I'll ask, after everything that you've gone through, the internet trolls and all of that, and this and the third, what made you decide to come back? Was it so that you could show more of who you are, absent someone else, individual standing on your own, stand on business? What does that look like for you?
I honestly didn't go in thinking that I was going to be alone, because I wasn't supposed to be alone. Like, cause if you watch the show, that stuff, like it mended, showed up to the reunion together, left from the reunion, spent like a week in Vegas. November came, we went out for the birthday. Like, we had been hanging out. And then one day I just wake up to another internet thing and I'm like, ugh. But then I did get a phone call. Most people don't know this. Last year, May, I got a call. Well, there was a moment when, again, I said my brother got killed last year, April 19th. His funeral was May 4th. Baddies Caribbean's premiere was May 5th. So I had just put my brother in the grave, closed the casket, and Zeus dropped a sneak peek trailer for Baddies Caribbean premiering the next day. In that clip, they showed, like, I don't know, beef between the two of us. But
Okay.
something was said in that moment, and it triggered me, because I was just like, and I think that it triggered me more so because I'm grieving.
Yeah.
And at that point, I kind of let out some of what people didn't know in like a long paragraph, and it hit the blogs.
Okay.
And then I received a phone call. Didn't answer the first call. And the second call came, and I answered. And there was a 36-minute long conversation, and apologies were given, and truths were revealed. Again, I won't speak on it. I'm okay with protecting other people's character. There's no hate in my heart for her. But apologies were given. And I was asked, would you like me to go to the internet and clear it up? And I said, I would want you, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I will want you to do what your heart feels that you should do if it's genuine. If this moment is genuine and not just because there was a response that I had based off this clip where something was said that I didn't know about till it aired, then you do that. The next day it was a regular call. Oh, when you get back from LA, let's hang out, let's do, brunch or something like that. Cool. It's like we don't have to tell anybody what we talked about. We just pop out. We don't owe anybody any explanation. And then literally 6 days, it wasn't even a full week, 6 days later, like some weird shit happened. I was just like, oh yeah. So that's why we are where we are now. It has nothing to do with Baddies East, because we've hung since then. It's because of this moment, that the situation right now.
How cool were you with Jayla going into Baddies Caribbean?
Remember, I already met her on the yacht. Yeah,
That's why I want to establish.
that was already my girl.
Okay.
But but that was my first time when we were on the yacht. That was my first time actually spending time with Jayla. So we realized, like, we act alike. We're free spirited, like we joke, happy dance, like the turn up girls, like we had fun. But coming on the Baddies Caribbean, we already knew that our energies matched. But we didn't know that we would end up being that close, So we had like a sisterhood.
I have to say, I do love the Jayla Sapphire dynamic. So going back to that, what made you come to Baddies? I don't think we fully.
Okay, yeah. So
back to Baddies Caribbean, what made you come back?
Right. So yeah, that's what I was saying. So I didn't say that I'm going to come back because I'm doing it alone, because that was never the plan. Like. Both of us were coming back. And then I would get text messages, even after that particular scene, because again, I didn't know what was filmed until that clip was dropped.
Right.
So after that particular scene, they had to go do a booking. And I would get texts, throughout the week, like, I'm just waiting on my my order for my clothes to come. You know, I'll be there Thursday, I'll be there this day. It was then checking on me like, oh, I heard so-and-so did this. And when I get there, you know, we're going to handle that, et cetera, et cetera. And then one day I was told that she's not coming. So, you know, me wanting to be back is, I love my Zeus family. Like, you know, so it was cool. I didn't mind, but it did give me the opportunity to just have to worry about myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think more Bad Girls Club women should be a part of the show? And if so, who?
For me, I feel like we all know that Baddies is pretty much like a spinoff of Bad Girls Club. I can't really say that I think more of them should be a part because they've already set the stone. They've already like left their mark.
Okay.
You know, like this is happening because of them. You know, this idea is because of what they've already done. I don't feel like they have to come on and prove themselves anymmer.
Makes sense. Were you a fan of Bad Girls Club? Like, did you
Of course.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Cool.
I would like to see Stassi. If Stassi was on Bad Girls Club, I think that'd be dope.
That's sis. I love Stassi.
Uh-huh.
I love Stassi. Did you and Mariah have peaceful conversations, and were y'all on good terms before coming to Caribbean? Because y'all it was a storyline that was made, and you know, she brought Bianca, and we'll get into all of that. But from your perspective, were y'all cool before coming to Caribbean?
Yeah, I believe on Baddies East reunion, we had a conversation, paragraphs in our DMs, a phone call. Like, there was no issues. When I got there, it was hugs and love, like hanging out. So I wouldn't had any idea that the situations that took place after the fact were coming.
Do you think Bianca was only brought onto the show to fight you?
Of course.
Okay. Do you think that that's a production thing, or do you think that was a, hey, Mariah Lynn wants her friend on, this could be the angle kind of thing?
Possibly.
Okay. Do you feel that you got snuck?
I did.
What is your definition of a sneak?
When you have no idea, you're not looking, you don't know it to be, like, you coming in, you're giving hugs, and you run up. I don't even know you. We ain't even met. It's like when we were on the yacht, that's the crazy thing. There was a scene when we were on the yacht, and they were like saying to people that were coming, and they had mentioned her, and then they mentioned her song. I mean, not gonna act like I don't know the song, but I still didn't know her. Like, if I would have walked past her, I wouldn't have connected her to the song. Yeah. So even when they said, "Oh yeah, well my friend so and so's coming," I was still like, "Okay, I'm clapping. I don't even know this bitch got an issue. I'm okay." Yeah. And then you sneak me.
What's going on in your mind when you get snuck?
Why? It was just more so why. And I think that it bothered me even more because Mariah and I are sitting next to each other. Like, you came and sat right next to me. So then it makes you wonder. I can't help but wonder. Right. Did you sit there so that when she comes to hug you, I'm present and easily accessible? Or we'll never know, because she said she had no idea. Well, she said she knew, and that she attempted to call it off and told her, no, don't do it because we're cool. But then there were text messages that said, I'll be on the yacht with Sapphire and her today, and I don't know if there'd be any issues. So for me, I was taken aback by that text, because it's like, well, why would there be issues? So it's like, were you kind of fueling her fire so that she could stand on what she said she was going to do? Because she told you, well, just don't say nothing. And even on that yacht, it was still good energy. So I felt like, and she doesn't owe me this because it's her friend, but I felt like Mariah could have at least said, well, look, you know, my friend so-and-so will be here. I did tell her that we don't have any issues, but she still feels some type of way. So whatever happens, I'm just letting you know it's out of my control. Again, she doesn't have to do that. Right. But I would have respected that, because then it wouldn't make it seem like you were part of the setup. Yeah, and that it was a plot. Yeah. This whole dinner, the first dinner, because we never really see y'all eat. Right, but the first dinner, there was a lot going on. We got Jela versus Biggie, then Bianca versus Sapphire, then Callie versus everyone, because she's going after Natalie. People are spitting, people are getting hit. There's a lot going on here. What did we not see? There's a lot more back and forth between Bianca and I. That was cut out. To be honest, yeah, that's probably pretty much it.
So people think, or not think,
That I can remember.
There are some people that say that there are no rules to fighting. And then there are some people that say, no jumping, no spitting, no biting, no weapons. Where do you stand?
I feel like, again, if it was street beef, then there's no rules. You got to do what you got to do to protect yourself. But I feel like from a production standpoint, there are rules set in place that we're all told to follow. And I think that just goes out the window for a lot of the girls when they're in that moment. So you just got to expect the unexpected. That's all I can pretty much say about that.
Did the spit land on you? And baby, let me tell you something here.
Not in my face though.
Okay.
But yeah,
I was like, oh hell no, what's going on? And I mean, clearly your physicality was given that too. Do you blame the security for your shoulder getting taken out of the socket? Because they be bulldozing y'all.
Yeah. And to be honest, I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when it happened. I just felt it when it did. And that part was cut out too. When they followed me to the bathroom and the medic came in the bathroom and you could see it kind of popped out. Some of the girls were in there with me and he was trying to
put it back.
He was trying to, like put it back in place, but it was just like, it was hurting too bad. So Jayla and I went to the hospital. That was my birthday too. So we spent the first part of my birthday in the hospital.
What's your sign?
Pisces. So that was March 16th. Well, it was after midnight by the time we began filming. So
tell me 3 good things about a Pisces that you can attest to, and 3 bad things about a Pisces that you can attest to.
Okay. You Pisces? Oh. Period. You see, we're loved. I would say for Pisces, we're very charismatic. I think that we are understandable, and this could be a positive and a negative, but we kind of live in our own reality. If it makes sense to us, then that's just what it is. And if we feel like we're not living in that reality, then we chase it.
Okay. And I'll change it from 3 bad things. I'll say, what are a couple of misconceptions that people may have?
Living in your own reality. Delusion, I guess. That would be the next, like sometimes we can be a little delusional, but shit, we stand on believing in that. I feel like sometimes we're a little too soft-hearted.
Okay.
And let's see, one more that people may find misunderstood. I don't know. I don't really have too many bad things to say about.
That's beautiful. Quick one thing. Can you do me a favor? Make sure she's completely in focus for me, please. Do you need anything?
No.
Are you good? Okay.
She is.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do you want some more wine?
Please.
Okay. That we can refill.
And if you're hot, let me know.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting there, and that's because of the wine.
We'll make it cooler in here. I think it's at like 69 or something.
Yeah, I don't know if the air is still on. Can you double check that for me? Let me get a second.
Yes, at the interview.
That would be amazing. You're so awesome. Thank you kindly.
And then let's see. Wait. It's on 66 cooler.
Yeah, maybe a couple of degrees down.
All right.
And maybe that window behind her can be slightly open. Or is it hot outside?
I think it's like 80. Yeah, that's probably why. Let's close it.
Oh, it was already open. Okay. Gretchen saying the N-word. Yes, indeed. Oh, I can't wait to get your thoughts on this, child.
Good.
Yes.
How's strawberry?
Good, fresh.
Yes, indeed. We're going on that side too. Thank you kindly. All right. So I did interviews with Jela. You want to hire?
Oh, I mean, as long as you can hear me, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did interviews with Jayla. I did an interview with JL, and they both had their own account of this particular dinner situation. When I spoke to JL, she was saying that they were just about to come in prior to Callie coming in, and then once Callie came in, all hell broke loose, and then they could not come in.
At the dinner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you able to meet them?
No.
So you didn't know who they were. You didn't meet them yet because everything had happened. And okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I didn't meet them until we got to Barbados. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, our first time meeting was when we were at like that bonfire.
The beach.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, you watched the show. I think that was the first time. Yeah.
So when they came to the beach, that was the legit first time.
Correct.
Okay.
This is the craziest way to meet.
Gretchen. Very interesting woman. I've heard many of things, where she's from, that's what they do, so forth and so on. I'm very, very Black. I'm very, very pro-Black. That's all I know. So in my mind, when I'm watching this woman who's non-Black go on about the N-word, and then it's explained to her how to handle herself around other Black people, and some Black people may take offense to that. She's not able to mentally get to a point where she can turn it off because she's so used to it.
Yep.
I didn't really see you vividly upset like some of the other girls. Where were you in that mind space when all of this was going on?
Okay. So to give some background on Gretchen, she was a sweet girl when we initially met her. She and Callie, they weren't like a duo at that time. She was just her own self. We would have breakfast together in Barbados. She would sit with all of us, very soft-spoken, just sweet. At some point, she didn't stay in the same house with us, so she made amends with, the other group, and then she and Callie became close. So when she came in that night, because we had breakfast together that morning, so that evening when she came in, the whole N-word thing started. That was my first time even seeing her be like this firecracker. I didn't know that she had that in her. So when the N-word started getting thrown around, I was like taken aback. But again, at that time, I didn't know what her background was. I didn't know she was mixed and just maybe more lighter skin. I didn't know. But the way that I felt was, whether it's okay for you to do it where you're from or not, here, they're not comfortable. Like, we don't agree with it. So if you can, just try not to say it out of respect for the other women who want to attack you every time you say it. And there was a heartfelt moment with Gretchen. I believe that it aired where she said, I'm trying, I'm not trying to offend y'all, but she's become so accustomed to using the word, it's became like part of who she is, it's part of her aesthetic. She doesn't know how to cut it off. So for me, it was just like, no matter how I felt, they gonna want to beat your ass every time you say it, but Gretchen gonna get in the paint too. That's the thing about her. So it's like, either understand that you don't have to do anything, but I say this loosely, understand that you're gonna have to fight each time you say it, or just stop saying it. She couldn't. So she fought all her battles.
From your perspective, because you have that lived-in experience, you were there. None of us were. From you, do you feel that she was being malicious when saying the word? Whenever she was flying off the handle, do you think that she was coming off from an anti-Black place, an angry Black place, or do you feel like it was just a word that she just kept spitting out?
No, I don't feel like she was being malicious. I don't think like she would just call you a nigga just because you're Black and she knows that you'll be offended by it. I think that's just her alternative for bitch. That's just her alternative for bitch, and it doesn't make it okay, even though, and she stated this herself, she doesn't mean anything by it, but there's a lot of meaning behind it, and she just couldn't quite grasp that concept. And then oftentimes you get people of other races, not Black, when they do or say things that we may be offended by as Black Americans, or just Black people, period. they like to connect themselves to someone black in some way or another. So for Gretchen, it was, I have black kids. And then, you know, sometimes Caucasian people say, well, I have black friends. Or, well, my mom married a black man. Or, my brother-in-law's black. Like, it still doesn't make it okay. But Gretchen just couldn't find her off switch. She tried. She couldn't find it. But she fought all her fate, so.
One of my interviewees made a comment regarding the women at that particular time. And she said that she doesn't feel like the women really cared about it and that it became like a storyline for a lot of the women to just go after Gretchen. Do you agree or disagree with that statement?
Let me just give my sentiment. I can't really say if I agree or disagree. I'm gonna just tell you how I feel.
Okay.
There were, especially one in particular, you know I'm talking about Jela. Like she just was steadfast on the fact that she feels disrespected. She don't care, you know. Meatball felt disrespected because it was directed towards her. So when you initially came in and there's an argument going on and you just say, nigga, they don't know if you're meaning it in a malicious way or not, because that's the first time anybody's really quite getting to know you.
Right.
And then you fly off the hinges and say that. So that was the only time where a large group of people kind of ganged up on her because everybody was black.
Right.
And then you passed that statement. But I get what JLo was saying, because once Gretchen kind of explained her sentiment as to why she uses the word, how it's okay for her to use it, why she believes it's okay, then it just kind of died down. But I wouldn't say that it was a storyline for Jayla. That's just how she felt. And that became her storyline. But I don't think she forced that as a storyline. She really felt disrespected by that.
Yeah, definitely Jayla, because she has history from the prior show dealing with white women saying that. And
she was always against it.
Yep.
So yeah, it wasn't a forced storyline. That's how she felt. Now, if anybody else were, from being there, us all being together, if there was anyone else that, you know, made it a thing, then I would say, nah, they kind of forced it because they weren't doing that. But Jayla always stood on what she said and how she felt. And she fought for it every time.
Jayla gets bit. Gretchen takes a bite out of crime, baby. Huge bite. What's going on in your mind? How do you feel?
What fight was that?
That was during the whole, when they all ran after her. All the ladies attacked Gretchen.
Yeah. They were on the floor. I think they were on the floor over in the corner. And then she got bit. Ooh. I'm just trying to remember that, because that day so many fights were going on all at the same time.
Yeah.
But we were all in the room, and then Jayla screamed out, she bit me, and then we all just had to like be separated, because that was the first time something like that had happened and we didn't really know how to handle it. So it was more so like, I was pissed, because it's like, what the fuck? People do that, and it wasn't like a little small like.
Yeah.
It was you know, because I was there with Jayla in the mornings when we would have to clean it.
Out,
yeah, it would just be she and I, and then like one day it like kind of puffed up.
Yeah.
It's like green, and we put a towel on the floor and she'd lean over and we was pressing it.
Yeah.
So I had to be there with her through that. And, you know, so when people feel like Jayla was forcing it, it's like she was literally crying, like that shit was hurting, and it looked nasty.
Yeah.
Like it literally looked nasty, and you don't know if this infection is going to spread internally. You don't know if it's going to heal, you know, in a way that you're comfortable with showing your chest. So mentally, Jayla went through a lot. So it was a little beyond just her saying the N-word. It was everything that occurred after the fact because of the N-word. So Jayla was fighting for the bite, for the N-word, for the infection, you know, for the scar. Like, she had her reasons.
DTV and Tinka seemed to go like 17,000 rounds this particular time. And it became a situation where we got to see who Tinka was, as animated as she was in that particular time. Do you feel like you were laughing all night, or like, oh my God, this girl is crazy, or like, what was going on in your mind?
I just said she's good for TV.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
She's super animated. Because somebody hit a split in the middle of y'all arguing and start twerking. I was just like, writing it down in my book. Like, this is good. I was writing it down. You know, for me, I go on there and everybody just got to handle their business. That's how I feel. I don't really like pour my whole soul into other people's beefs. We all know why we're here. You know what you came to do. You know what you got to do. If you want to make it funny, make it funny. If you want to crash out, crash out. If you don't want to fight, like some of them don't go home. Like, I just get your shine on. You know, that's the portrayal of you, not me. So if it's funny, I'ma laugh. But Tinka, she was very animated. She's good for TV.
Did you care about the wig that Bianca put in the toilet?
No, not that one.
That was just adding fuel to the fire.
Well, I just figured, shit, you snatched my wig, flushed it. I said, now we got to fight about the wig. But I didn't really give a fuck about the wig. It's just, I want to fight. Because in that situation, this was the next day after my shoulder popped out. And they were trying to put me on a 6-week injury, the hospital. And I was like, no, we can't do that, because if my paperwork says 6 weeks, I probably don't get to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to tell me I can't fight. So the lady said, all right, 3. And I said, no. She said, ma'am, well, what do you want me to put? I said, I don't know, just put 2 and then we'll figure it out. So she said, I'm just letting you know, this is on you, and I'm going to put a line here. You have to sign. Oh, good deal. Signed it. Took my paperwork back, put me in the sling and everything. So when we get there, of course, you know, we had our fight the night prior at the dinner, and then with the Cali and everybody coming in, we got separated. We haven't seen these people again. So now we're in Barbados and we're all about to meet after all of these things had just occurred. We need to talk about this. Like, something needs to happen. But because I was in a sling, I was told that I wasn't allowed to fight until the 2 weeks were completed. Bianca was aware of that. But they told us that, you know, if y'all have words, y'all feel how y'all feel. I'm not saying y'all can't express how you feel, but you're not allowed to fight. I said, well, we'll talk later then. I said, because I'm not going to allow you to just keep disrespecting me and I can't even hit you. I'm not saying I don't want to fight. They're saying I'm not allowed to. And I respect them for that, you know, because they have my best interests at heart.
Definitely.
But with her knowing that, she was picking the nastiest shit to say. She's like, oh, you scary, and I'm gonna fuck you up, and yeah, come on, baby. So at one point when you watch that episode, Tasiki's like, why y'all doing all this talking? And I'm like, she's only doing that because she knows that they said I'm not allowed to fight. And then she says, who said that? They ain't never tell me I'm not allowed to fight. You just scary. Girl, they told you. Because they told me, they told me, and they said, we're going to tell her that you guys can have your sit down and talk about how you feel, but you're not allowed to fight because of your injury. And when she just started like just saying all this disrespectful stuff, I was begging them, like, please. And then at one point I had to get on the phone with production. They were on the phone, and I was like, please, she's not about to let me look like no bitch on TV. She's disrespecting me. And then all I heard was, Sapphire, if you... And I don't know what they were getting ready to say. In my mind, I felt like they were about to say, if you feel like you can, then do it. Shit, I feel Pisces delusion. Yeah. I filled in the blank. All I heard is, if you, and I said, okay. Gave them the phone. And she was like, yeah, come over here. Yeah, come over here. And she had no idea that they were really going to open up for this to happen. So I come up out my sling, and I'm like, come right here. Like, everybody wants to see the fight. She's like, no, she wants us to just come in this little small hallway away from everybody. And then I kept saying, come out here. And then that's when you hear me keep saying, of course she's not. Of course she's not. And then security wouldn't move. And that's when I picked the table up, moved it out the way. And she kept saying, open up, open up. Never know that they were going to actually move. And when they opened up, she's like, because it's like now.
Right. What's up?
You know? But I had to fight with one arm, and that was okay. I still ain't take no L. But then she took my wig and flushed it. So the wit in me was just saying, well, guess now we got to fight for the wig. But I came with several wigs.
I know that's right. Do you think Jayla was a bully to Biggie? Do you think Jayla bullied Biggie?
No.
Okay.
And the reason behind that is because, again, we all know what we signed up for. So when... We all know how that situation kind of occurred. The live. Jayla was asked her opinion,
Yep.
blew it off, was asked
I
her
see you,
opinion
I was
again.
like,
She said, and you came in there and said that. So now it's not bullying. It's more so
A response.
you need to just stand on what you said, you know? But from the outside looking in, and knowing that Biggie's not really a fighter is where the bullying comes into play. So at some point, I would be like, you know, Jayla and I would have conversations just like, all right, let's just leave that alone. Not because you're bullying her, because we just know like that's not, points was already proved. Biggie said what she said. Y'all fought. Biggie did her big one in Biggie's defense. You know, she had her moment. And Jayla will admit to it where it was like, okay, Biggie, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like now, let's just move on. And that's what happened. So I wouldn't consider it bullying because it was just the restaurant and then the next day. After that, you don't see a Jayla and Biggie situation. Yeah.
Who do you think won the overall battle royale? Because I believe the name of the episode was Royal Rumble, when everyone comes to the beach. It's you ladies, I guess, would be the veterans or the OGs per se, and then the new ladies come in. All hell breaks loose because Jelly decides to go after Callie, and then Meatball goes after JLo, and then Dia is going after Gretchen, and then Nunu comes in. It's a lot.
Who did Nunu fight that day? I know Nunu fought.
She fought. Yeah, she fought a couple people. But she had got jumped by Slim Too Bad and Dia because Dia was going after Gretchen, and then Nunu jumped in, and then Slim. It was a chaos. Who did you fight? Did you not fight anybody? You was chilling on the beach.
I couldn't.
True.
Yeah, I was still in my.
So is that why you allowed for the hug to happen with you, Bianca, and all the girls, because you were just not in that space to fight and you were told not to fight?
What hug did I? When did I hug Bianca?
Before
I did.
Before all the ladies come out, before all the new girls come out, it seemed like there was tension, and Natalie was like, "Come on, y'all, let's all hug. We're all gonna hug."
We all hugged. It's just like, and that day too. It's so funny because I mean, I'm just kind of like, you know, reminiscing on those times and giving y'all some backstories. But Bianca did apologize, so I don't have an issue with her. Okay. But I'm still gonna tell the truth.
How it went, yeah.
Yeah, but Bianca did that day. Bianca kept walking past and she's like, "I don't have any issues with you." She's like, let's just talk after this. We don't gotta talk right now. And I was just like, "Could you move? could you just move?" And then, you know, they were like, production had asked, Natalie in particular, like, Sapphire, let's just, I was like, I can't even touch her. She's like, no, I told her just stay away from you. You know, we don't want that. Like, let your arm heal. And I said, I'm not even on that. I'm going to wait till I heal and then we'll handle it. But she tried to dead it a couple times behind the scenes. But then it was like when the cameras came back on, the energy was different. And that's what I didn't like.
Yeah.
So that's why I could never really like hash it out with her during filming. And that's why it looks dragged on, because behind the scenes you want to kumbaya, and then when the cameras come on, you're keeping that, you know, hood energy, and I didn't like that.
Let's touch on that real quick before I continue with the rest of the questions, because a lot of women seem to do that. They seem to be an alter ego when the cameras are on, but then when the cameras aren't on, they're so nice and so, you know, pleasant. Who are the realists, the top 3 realists outside of yourself, the top 3 realist women from Baddies Caribbean, when you look back, that they were always the same no matter whether the camera was on or off?
So can I do OGs and then do
you can
replacements?
You can.
Who's always the same, and I'm not going to include Natalie because my girl gonna do what she got to do. I don't blame her. Sorry. Who are always the same on and off camera? Caribbean. Jela, Tasiki. I have my third one, but I'm just going through the roster again just to make sure. And I have to do Jayla, Tasiki, and dang, no, because I'm gonna have to do Jayla, Tasiki, and Anna. That was my first initial pick, but I do still want to shine light on Tinkerbella and Meatball. The only reason why I'm saying Tinkerbella was different on and off camera, only because she was super animated on camera, but not in a way that it showed fakeness. It was she was more entertaining. But off camera, she still is animated, but she has like a soft side where we would have deeper conversations, you know, where it was more emotional. But she knew how to be entertaining on camera. So when I'm saying that who's the same on and off camera, I'm just saying like Anna is a firecracker, whether the camera's on and off, like whether she's, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna get dressed when the fuck I'm ready. Like she's doing that on camera, she's doing that off camera. Tasiki, my girl gonna get high, she gonna chill. Ain't nobody bothering her, she ain't bothering y'all. And we know Martin Luther Jela, she gonna give her long speeches off camera and on camera. Meatball, same. However Meatball felt off camera, she gonna handle it how she gonna handle it. And when it was on camera, Meatball still gonna handle it how she's gonna handle it. But this is the one thing that I regret for Meatball is she was less funnier on camera because she was more so on defense. But Meatball is known for her comical energy, you know, her skits. Like she's very unapologetic. You know, that's what Meatball is known for, which is why they even reached out to her to be on Baddies. But it put her in an environment that she wasn't used to. So when the cameras was off, I used to be in Meatball room, like we do TikToks, we have fun. But when the cameras were on, she had to go into like this shell of protection where she didn't get to show the world who wasn't familiar with her, the comical side of her and her personality. It was just more serious. And I hated that that was her experience. Yeah, but that's the only reason why I didn't choose those two, because just entertainment purposes and protection purposes. But on and off, those three. And then and then I want to make mention to a Diamond. It's just so many of us. Diamond, same. Diamond's a sweet girl. Very quiet. A lot of people wouldn't believe that. Her mother loves me. I love her mom. Love Diamond. But Diamond also knows what to do when the cameras come on to be entertaining. And she also knows how to work the internet. So again, when I say being different on and off camera, it's not about being fake when the cameras come on. They just turn their entertainment up a couple notches. Where some of us just, I'm the same way I am when the camera's off. I'm the same way I am when the cameras are on. In the replacement side, and this is just from the little that I got to see, because we didn't get to spend a lot of time with them off camera, but just the little conversations that I will have. Nunu was the same on and off camera. J.O. was the same on and off camera, and Kiva was the same on and off camera.
Okay. Love them. What didn't we see in this nature walk? Did you have a good time during this nature walk? Was it cute? Was it fun? Was it adventurous? What didn't we see?
Well, you know, our nature walk was Diamond and Tinker going at it. So again, these are two people who become super entertaining when the cameras come on. And I want to say that they captured all of the best moments in our nature walk. You didn't miss any of that.
Okay.
Not for us. I can't speak on anybody else's nature walk because we were separated.
Where did the big pencil come from? Did you go to a convenience store somewhere and just grabbed her up, or did you make a phone call? Where did that?
No, so we were in DR. Wait, were we in? Well, no, we were in Puerto Rico. We were in Puerto Rico. It was one of our off days. We went to go do some shopping, and we walked into this particular store, and I seen the pencil behind the counter, and I was just sitting there. I'm like, I should get the pencil and start clocking tea. And then I say to the lady, I said, "Excuse me, can I have one of the pencils behind the counter?" They passed me the pencil, and Nat goes, "What are you getting it for your daughter?" I said, No. When I grabbed the notebook and I said, "I'm about to start clocking bitches tea."
Did it really write?
Yeah, I have real notes in that notebook.
Oh, okay.
It's real writing in there.
Because from what I remember, like we would see you scribbling.
I was literally, and then sometimes the girls, I would come back to my book and Anna would write, like Anna was here, or somebody would write, "Don't forget when so-and-so said this and that," and then they'll sign their name for who wrote it. Like it really wrote, and there's real notes in there.
Okay.
I'll probably sell it in like 2032.
We're going to fast forward to Asian Doll. Did you know Asian Doll before her coming on the show?
Yes.
Okay. Asian, and I'm gonna just say it how I see it or how I saw it. Asian Doll comes into the show and she beats up Mariah Lynn. I felt bad for Mariah Lynn, but Mariah Lynn got in the paint, and that's all that matters. She stood up for herself. She didn't get punked. But I'll speak for myself. I get this vibe of everyone against one. And what I mean by that is we're on the four-wheelers, we're having a good time. It seems like a sisterhood. Boom. Then Asian Doll and Mariah Lynn fights because of he said, she said, or she said, being in Bianca and Mariah Lynn. That was a lot going on. Asian Doll fights Mariah Lynn. They hug and make up. Then it seems like everyone, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, everyone just focused their attention onto Bianca, and it was like an onslaught on Bianca. People were pulling her helmet from the back, doing all types of things. How do you view that and express your thoughts? Okay.
So I know like some context was kind of missing in filming from when that particular episode aired. So allegedly, Asian Doll and, because the web is so crazy. Bianca and Mariah are friends, but Bianca has some type of relationship with Asian Doll from some years back. It came out that Bianca had called Asian Doll and told her everything that Mariah was saying.
Okay.
So Asian Doll came in on that momentum, one, because of what was going on the internet, but two, because the friend had filled her with more information behind the scenes. However, make sure you keep up. Bianca was telling Mariah, oh yeah, when this bitch get here, you gonna fight her and then I'm gonna fight her next. You fight her first, I'm gonna fight her next. So Mariah's going in thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna run mine and then you gonna run yours. Asian's coming in with all the information that she was fed, plus, their past beef about some other stuff. So there's a clip where they're like, fight her. And people thought that they were forcing her to fight me because that's how it looks. They're not talking about me. They're telling her to run her fade with Asian Doll because she had said that allegedly to other girls. Oh yeah, because Mariah gonna fight. They were all on the van. So yeah, because once Mariah, I swear I'm because this is it, like she was popping it. Right. So when they're saying, fight her, no, fight her, no, you need to fight her. They're not talking about me. They're talking about run your fade with Asian Doll. And Asian Doll asked her, well, did you want to run a fade? She said no. Now, the part where
everyone turns their attention to Bianca.
Yeah, I believe that's the part I'm talking about. When they were like fighter, they're talking about Diamond about Bianca, because it shows me, because we both knew that when we got here that we were supposed to run our fades.
Okay.
She and I were supposed to fight. Like we knew that.
Okay.
Like this, it wasn't no secret. So when I get up there and they're done, all right, like come on, because you knew what was supposed to happen. Once she start backing up, then they like, she don't want to fight me because I'm too big. All right, well then you need to run your fade with Asian Doll. Then I backed off because I'm not about to force you to do something that you don't want to do. I did my part. You don't want to, and I'm also not gonna just sneak you. It makes me look bad. So then it's like, okay, well then run your fade with Asian Doll. You didn't want to do that either. So they were more so upset because the things that she was saying, she didn't stand on it in that moment. Diamond hitting her, she gave her reason, I believe, on the show, but I can't quite remember off the top of my head what that was.
And then Biggie snatched her goggles or something.
Yeah, I also don't know what the reason for that was.
Do you see how that looked though?
Yeah.
It was like, dang, like everybody the girl just said out loud she don't want to fight. And it seemed like everybody was still carrying it. Because it's just like, you can't, like say these things or cause this type of fusion, and then even if you don't fight, at least speak up. Yeah, my bad, I did say this, or I did tell her that because that was my friend, or I was wrong for calling you, like say something. But then when you just like completely shut down
and these two girls just fought. That's why Asian Doll and Mariah were able to hash it out then and there, because she was like feeding both sides.
Makes sense. Come on, I love the clarity. Callie and Gretchen's friendship, do you think that it was real?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Anna fighting Mariah's mom. What did we not see? Well, she said she did fight the mom, so she did fight the mom. Do we know if the mom was the aggressor, or if Anna was the aggressor?
We didn't see it.
Right.
So I only know when Anna came in and told us. However, later on, because there's a scene, I believe, with me, Mariah, I think Asian Doll. I'm not sure who else was there, but I know Mariah and I were there for sure. Where Mariah admits that her mom was wrong. So.
Okay. Y'all have a house meeting and Natalie says we have girls with scissors, and Rolly says, who has scissors? And Meatball comes out saying, I had the scissors because this girl want to fight, and I'm not going to keep fighting her. And then everybody laughs. But then it comes out, and I don't know if this is the same scenario or not, but it comes out that Meatball had, I'll just say, a personal attack where she was just like threatening to do some harm to JLo if JLo comes on set and whatnot. At this particular moment when everyone's laughing about the scissors, did you know, or did anyone know how serious it was?
No.
Okay.
So when we found out about the scissors, it was in that moment. Someone had told production.
Okay.
And so it came out, and I mean, she admitted to it. Okay. So like, somebody had scissors, she admitted that she had it. But again, that's why I said I hate that Meatball had that type of experience, because she didn't get to be the Meatball that we know. She literally felt like kill or be killed. And I hate to use that, type of example, but that's how it is. So when people say like, oh, I want to be on Baddies, like I could fight. That's cool, but it's deeper than just fighting. It's mental, because you could be eating breakfast together in the morning, and then you didn't even know somebody had an issue with you, and then she's calling you out that night or the next day or what. You never know how it's gonna go. So it's literally like playing chess.
A lot of people were upset that JLo was not let on set, and then the internet finds out that Meatball was the cause of it because she had threatened JLo allegedly with the scissors and the knives or whatever the case may be. Instead of parting ways with Meatball, they make JLo not come on the show. What are your thoughts about that? Because a lot of people were like, no, if she's the one threatening, she needs to be the one to go and bring JLo back. What were your thoughts?
See, I ain't never think too deep into it. So now I just have to think about it. What I can say is, I don't feel like Meatball didn't deserve to be there, but I also feel like JLo deserved to be there. She was one of the ones. So, but that being my opinion, that doesn't mean that I feel like Meatball should have went home. But I felt like their beef, it was just so immature that the two of them really could have figured that out. And I think that they would have been a good duo as well. Or she, Tinka, JLo would have been like a triple threat. I think that would have been a good matchup, for if they linked, because they were cool at one point, and that's how the beef started. It was over chips. Yeah. So I just hate that, again, that JLo didn't get the full experience, and I hate that was Meatball's experience, because she missed out on a lot of opportunities that could have also been fun, because when it was time for fun, she was still in warrior mode. Yeah. So.
E.T. comes to the birthday party.
E.T. did? Okay. You're taking me back. E.T. did come. E.T. I'm like, how we get there? Yeah. She did come to Caribbean.
To the party. And we see you questioning it, and we see Tasiki questioning it. What did we not see? What did we not get?
You said we questioned it?
Well, you were like, why is she here? I think maybe Tasiki said it.
No, but I didn't say that.
Okay.
Because when I seen her, she looked at me, I looked at her, she walked up, and we hugged, and she immediately started crying.
I do remember you saying that as well.
And then we kind of went to the side, and we had a conversation. Okay. And and then later on, she and Tasiki had a heart to heart as well. So after those conversations were had, she just kind of fell right back in line. Like,
Where are you
enjoyed
currently
herself.
now with her?
Yeah, we don't have any issues. I'd seen her in LA. We were at a entrepreneur empowerment type award event, woman empowerment. It was something of stature. She was there. Seen each other, took a video together. But she's not someone that I see often. Yeah, she's in the West Coast.
Right.
I'm down south. Yeah.
Bianca shows up in Ethica attire.
Mm-hmm.
Are you scared for your life?
No.
But it seemed like she come with some peoples. I want to say it was her sister or her cousin or something.
Okay, so Lemmy's party. Okay, so when Boss Man threw his party, there was a flyer posted on the internet inviting people. But I mean, it's in DR, so you don't really expect like people are really
gonna
hopping
fly.
on the plane.
Yeah.
But but you know, they love the network. Everybody want to be a baddie, so any opportunity you have to kind of showcase yourself or be in the know, you're gonna show up, and they did. But the way he had this huge villa, but in the back it was like a beach, and if you knew your way around it, you can kind of sneak into the party. So they weren't like invited into the party, nor was it known, because we weren't allowed to invite our own friends or family.
Okay.
It's just other kind of baddies and BGC girls, things like that can come. And so Asian Doll had lost her phone. We looking for her phone. We're backtracking, myself, her, Jonathan. And I tell her, well, why you don't just go to the stage, tell DJ Scott and make an announcement and say it's yours? Because if you say it's yours, then they're really going to want to give it back because they want to talk to you.
Nothing to discuss more. I get the remedy for this stress, yeah. Double cup, say shy,